Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging deep into a true cultural touchstone, the 1996 classic, Jerry Maguire. Now, this wasn't just some hit movie. Oh no. It was a genuine phenomenon that literally changed the way we talk.
So let's just start with the language of the film, right? I mean, we're talking about lines that didn't just stay on the screen, they exploded into our everyday lives. Take this one, for example. Show me the money. It's not just a quote anymore, is it? It's cultural shorthand. You say it, and millions of people know exactly what you're talking about, instantly.
And then, of course, there's this one. It's so powerful, so universal, that I bet you've heard it, maybe even said it yourself, even if you've never actually seen the movie. Now that is the sign of some truly iconic writing.
But look, it's not just about the great lines. There's a whole fascinating story behind the scenes here about how it all came together. You know, the perfect storm of the right script, the right director, and a trio of actors who gave, truly career-defining performances.
All right, so let's really dive in. Let's try to answer the big question here. How did this one movie become such a cultural phenomenon? And why? Why does this film, a rom-com drama about a sports agent of all things, why does it still resonate with us, almost 30 years later?
To get a handle on this movie's impact, you've got to start with the words. The script is so good that the Writers Guild of America actually voted it the 66th greatest screenplay ever written. Think about that. That is no small feat.
So what makes these lines so effective? Well, it's their raw authenticity, right? They're not just clever one-liners. They capture these real, messy human emotions. Help me help you? Come on, that is just the perfect encapsulation of desperate sincerity. And get this, the quirky little factoid, the human head weighs 8 pounds, that was actually an ad-lib. The young actor Jonathan Lipnicki just threw it out there on set. Director Cameron Crowe loved how random it was so much that he wrote it right into the script. It just goes to show you, great dialogue can pop up from anywhere.
So, how was this thing built? Well, it really all starts with the vision of one guy, writer-director Cameron Crowe.
See, Crowe wasn't trying to make just another sports movie. Not at all. He wanted to tell a kind of fable about moral compromise, and the whole idea was sparked by a single newspaper photo he saw of a sports agent and his player, just standing together, looking like it was the two of them against the entire world. And that's what the movie's about, really. It's a story about having to lose everything to finally find yourself.
Now here's a really fascinating piece of trivia for you. Before Tom Cruise ever came on board, the script was actually written for Tom Hanks. Just try to imagine Tom Hanks yelling, "Show me the money" for a second. It's wild, right? And the film went through years of development with more than a dozen different titles. My personal favorite? The wonderfully absurd, "Do the Gods Still Sing to Jerry Maguire?" So yeah, it was a very long journey to get to the film that we all know and love today.
All right, next up, 3 stars, 3 revelations. Let's talk about the performances, because this is where the movie magic really happens. Honestly, the casting here was just lightning in a bottle. First, you've got Tom Cruise as the anchor. As Jerry Maguire, Cruise delivered what is truly one of the most committed and vulnerable performances of his entire career. He just swings from this manic charm to this wounded desperation and then right back again, and you believe every single second of it. He didn't just play the character, he completely inhabited him.
And the critics? Well, they absolutely noticed. He snagged a Golden Globe for his work and, of course, a very richly deserved Oscar nomination. This performance showed he wasn't just a movie star, he was an actor at the absolute peak of his powers.
And then there's Cuba Gooding Jr. as the scene stealer. As the loudmouth but fiercely loyal Rob Tidwell, he just absolutely stole the entire show. On paper, the character is egotistical. He's exhausting. But Gooding Jr. managed to find the wounded pride and the genuine love that was hiding underneath all that bravado.
And boy, did it pay off. He won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, and his acceptance speech, oh man, it was just as electrifying as the character. That unforgettable moment of him just thanking everyone with this pure, uncontainable joy, it became an iconic Oscar moment all on its own. It really was a case of life imitating art.
And finally, we have Renée Zellweger, the breakout. As Dorothy Boyd, she gave us one of cinema's all-time greatest breakout performances. Simple as that. She was, without a doubt, the heart of the entire film.
And she beat out a literal who's who of A-list stars for this part. We're talking Cameron Diaz, Winona Ryder. But when you watch her, you totally see why she got it. She made Dorothy feel so completely real, so imperfect, and just utterly relatable. And that authenticity is precisely why that "you had me at hello" line lands with such devastating emotional force.
Okay, time for a plot twist. Behind all the art, there's this absolutely wild business story, one of the most notorious product placement disasters in the history of Hollywood. Yeah, this is where the movie about showing me the money gets very, very real.
$1.5 million. That is how much money Reebok pumped into this film. And we're not talking about just a few logos on a t-shirt here. No, this was for merchandise, for marketing, and for a key promotional scene that they were sure they had locked down.
Okay, so here's the deal. What Reebok wanted was pretty simple. A nice, positive commercial right in the film's credits, with Rod Tidwell reconciling with the brand. But what did Reebok get? Well, that whole scene was cut. It ended up on the cutting room floor. So the only thing left in the final movie was Rod Tidwell furiously screaming, yeah, F you, Reebok!
So, what happened next? Well, surprise, surprise, Reebok sued TriStar Pictures for $10 million. Now, the case was eventually settled out of court, but it remains a perfect, textbook example of why brand partnership contracts need to be absolutely crystal clear. Lesson learned. Get it in writing, people.
So, let's bring it all together. After the unforgettable lines, the incredible performances, and all that crazy business drama, what is the film's final legacy? Why are we still talking about this movie today?
Well, these scores pretty much speak for themselves, don't they? Our analysis shows a film that just knocked it out of the park. A 9.6 for the screenplay, a near-perfect 9.9 for Cuba Gooding Jr.'s supporting role, a massive 9.8 for its cultural impact. I mean, this thing is a powerhouse across the board.
Which brings us to the grand total, a 9.2 out of 10. That overall score just cements its status. This isn't just a great movie, it's a genuine masterwork of American cinema that got pretty much everything right.
And I think that's the ultimate takeaway here. This quote says it all, and that's why this movie endures. Almost 3 decades later, Jerry Maguire still works because it reminds us that real victory, it isn't about being flawless. It's about the messy, the human, the heartfelt attempt to just be better. It's not about the destination, it's about the trying.